For years, Meghan Markle's story has been wrapped in glitter, mystery, and the kind of silence that makes people lean in closer. But this time, the silence broke from somewhere no one expected. Samantha Markle, Meghan's own sister, finally stepped forward, not with anger, not with gossip, but with something far more dangerous. Clarity. She spoke about whispers that had floated for years, whispers that Meghan might have undergone a hysterectomy at just 28 years old, a surgery that changes everything, a surgery that could rewrite the story of Archie, Liette, and every strange moment that left people confused and questioning. Samantha didn't yell, she didn't exaggerate, she simply said, "People need to look at the timeline. Nothing adds up unless you know the truth." And just like that, the door cracked open. Behind it stood a story about pregnancies that didn't behave like pregnancies, children who disappeared from public view, and an article that claimed something huge but offered nothing real. Tonight we walk through that door. We need to understand that as questions grew louder around Archie and Liette, people noticed something strange. Every path, every rumour, every timeline, every unexplained moment seemed to lead to the same place. Surrogacy. Now, in most families, surrogacy isn't a secret or a scandal. It's a beautiful solution for parents who can't carry a child themselves. People celebrate it, they talk about it openly. They honour the woman who helped bring the child into the world. But Meghan wasn't just any woman, and her world wasn't just any world. Inside the royal family, bloodlines are treated like treasure chests. Everything is counted, tracked, recorded. Who was born to whom and how and where, it all matters. Not just for tradition, but for succession. If a royal child is not born from the mother's body, questions appear like storm clouds. Are they in the line of succession? Are they eligible for titles? Are they legally considered royal heirs? For Meghan, whose entire public identity had become a mix of glamour, rebellion, and control, admitting surrogacy would be like revealing a crack in a perfect glass sculpture. And if Samantha Markle was right, if Meghan really did have a hysterectomy at 28, then every pregnancy afterward wasn't just private, it was impossible. That's when the rumour shifted from small talk to something with weight. The children may exist, but did Meghan give birth to them? That question became the heart of the mystery. And the deeper people looked, the less sense the story made. And here is where this exposé gets really interesting. After years of rumours, silence, and strange timelines, a new voice entered the story. A woman the world had never seen. She calls herself DL. No blur, no disguise, no trembling voice, just calm clarity. And her first sentence changed everything. "I carried Archie and I carried Lilith." DL says she wasn't a donor or a helper. She was the full surrogate, the woman experiencing the pregnancies while Meghan appeared in public with a bump. DL says never belonged to her. She says she was promised privacy and protection, but instead she was treated like an object. "I wasn't treated like a mother." DL says I wasn't treated like a woman. I was treated like a vessel. And now she is done being silent. DL didn't come with a story. She came with evidence, appointment logs, embryo implantation schedules, physician signatures, progress notes, all dated, all stamped, all synchronized with Meghan's public pregnancy announcements. These documents, which DL says came from a former insider at a Beverly Hills fertility clinic, mirror the entire royal pregnancy timeline almost perfectly. Then she explained how it began. Late 2018, the exact moment Harry and Meghan told the world they were expecting Archie. But according to DL, that pregnancy was happening inside her, not Meghan. And the more she explained the private meetings, the contract, the secrecy, the clearer the picture became. There were two timelines. One, the public one filled with glowing photos and stylish maternity outfits. Two, the hidden one happening inside a clinic inside DL's body. They ran side by side and only one of them was real. DL revealed the part of the story no one had ever considered, the actual medical timeline. She says she was approached only weeks after the royal wedding, escorted through private entrances, given a thick contract about secrecy and anonymity, and placed into a detailed medical program run with precision. Every date, every appointment, Every procedure lined up with Meghan's public pregnancy journey. DL says the IVF cycle began before the public announcement. Implantation happened close to the royal press release. Her first trimester symptoms matched Meghan's first public bump appearance. Her due dates aligned with Archie and Lilith's reported births. But here's the moment that hit hardest. According to DL, the contract was designed to erase her completely. No photos, no claims, no voice. A pregnancy happening in secret while another pregnancy was being displayed in public. One woman carrying the child, another woman performing the pregnancy. Two stories, one truth. And for the first time, DL was ready to say it out loud. DL didn't just talk, she brought proof. 2 ultrasound files, both stamped with her patient ID, both showing pregnancies that matched Archie in 2019 and Leet in 2020, almost to the day. No guessing, no speculation, just medical timestamps that lined up with Meghan's public announcements, like puzzle pieces snapping together. Then came the money bank statements showing quiet wire transfers routed through shell companies. DL says these were payments tied to her agreement, payments she claims were never fully delivered. The pattern was clear. Same days each month, similar amounts, and all traced back to financial managers connected to Meghan and Harry's circle. But the biggest hit was the sealed NDA, a thick document stamped in bold letters demanding silence forever. DL says it came with threats, financial ruin if she ever spoke. But according to her lawyers, parts of it couldn't even be enforced outside the US. That small loophole is the only reason she's speaking now. And then came the moment that stunned everyone. DL said she was ready for a public DNA test on camera. No editing, no private labs. A test comparing her DNA directly to Archie and Leet. If I'm lying, she said, you'll know in minutes. No celebrity, no royal, no PR team could ignore a challenge like that. Now that DL had revealed her side, old footage began to look different. Like the famous moment where Meghan bent forward and her baby bump folded sharply, almost like fabric collapsing. At the time, people brushed it off. A weird angle, a strange dress. But with DL's claims on the table, that moment suddenly clicked. It wasn't her pregnancy, DL said. It couldn't be. It was mine. Then there was the birth itself. No hospital sighting, no rush convoy, no medical staff waving at cameras. No royal photo call, the kind William and Kate did every single time. Instead, Harry stood near horse stables announcing Archie's birth like it was a school project. Awkward, nervous, confused. Back then, it felt strange. Now, it felt intentional because a woman can hide a pregnancy, but she cannot hide labor. If Meghan never entered a maternity ward, then the silence wasn't privacy. It was protection. Protection of a storyline the world wasn't meant to question. Until this point, people assumed Harry was simply following Meghan's lead. But DL changed that completely. She said Harry wasn't clueless. He wasn't tricked. He wasn't on the outside. He attended appointments. DL said he signed documents. He met me. He approved everything. In her words, he looked me in the eye. It flipped the narrative upside down. Because if Harry was involved from day one, then this wasn't Meghan's secret. It was their secret. And according to insiders, Harry is now cracking under the weight of it, snapping at staff, cutting off old friends, constantly checking for leaks. Living in anxiety, he can't escape. Sources whisper that he never meant for things to go this far. That the line between protecting Meghan and lying to the world disappeared faster than he expected. Now the prince, who wanted privacy, is drowning in the consequences of silence. And this is only the beginning. While Meghan and Harry stayed silent, the palace did not. Behind the scenes, advisors, lawyers, and constitutional experts were suddenly pulled into quiet meetings. Not because of gossip, but because of DL's evidence. Royal succession rules are simple and strict. An heir must be born of the mother's body. If a surrogate is used, it must be formally declared. No secrets, no shortcuts. But Archie and Leet were granted royal titles and places in the line of succession. If DL is telling the truth, then no official surrogacy was ever declared. That isn't a scandal. That is a constitutional crisis. A child's status, a royal lineage, and centuries of protocol could all collapse because of one hidden pregnancy arrangement. Sir Edward Lane, the late Queen's longtime press secretary, broke years of silence just to say one thing. The danger is not the surrogacy. The danger is the deception. And that is exactly what the palace fears most. For the monarchy, image is survival, trust is currency. But DL's claims threaten both. Behind closed doors, palace officials are now asking questions they hope they'd never have to ask. Were documents altered? Did anyone inside know about the surrogacy? Was the line of succession compromised? And how do you correct a royal record once it's been publicly sealed? These questions are not about gossip. They are about legitimacy. If the public ever believes a royal birth was staged, faked, or hidden, the damage isn't temporary. It attacks the monarchy's core, the idea that bloodlines matter. Even now, advisors fear the worst-case scenario. If DL's claims prove true, Archie and Libet's royal positions could be challenged, not because of who they are, but because of how they entered the world. The palace isn't panicking publicly, but the silence feels heavy, the kind that means something is breaking underneath. DL didn't step forward to tell a sad story. She stepped forward to expose what she calls the truth. And she's not stopping. She has more documents ready, more interviews lined up, more networks calling, more lawyers preparing statements. And the biggest weapon in her hand is the one Meghan and Harry cannot ignore. Her DNA challenge. No PR spin, no palace statement, no distraction can erase a public DNA test. DL says she is prepared to do it live with cameras rolling and independent experts present. If I'm lying, the world will know, she says. But if I'm not, they will have to explain everything. Meanwhile, Meghan's PR team is frozen. Harry is unraveling, and the palace is trying to figure out how to contain a story that has already escaped the walls. DL was supposed to be a secret. Now she might be the most important voice in the Sussex timeline. Every secret eventually cracks. This one is splitting in real time. DL's documents, the medical timeline, the ultrasound records, the financial trail, the NDA, the DNA challenge, Harry's involvement, Meghan's silence, the palace's panic, the monarchy's rules. All these pieces are now colliding, and the outcome is no longer something anyone can control. If this scandal continues, it won't end with a glossy magazine cover or a carefully staged interview. It will end in a room with lawyers, sworn statements, and questions no one will be able to avoid. Because once a story reaches this level, there is no going back. The fairy tale isn't fading, it's collapsing. And the next chapter won't be written by Meghan, Harry, or even the palace. It will be written by the truth itself. And the truth is already knocking on the door.